And we're back. My Cernovich, Gorilla Mindset, Danger and Play. 10 reasons to never give up on your dreams. Now, this isn't going to be some dopey, anything is possible inspirational speech, but it's a very logical approach to why you should not give up on your dreams. So here they are. 10. 10. One is you don't know what the future will bring because it ain't over till it's over. Now, guys, this goes in both directions. There have been people who have lost everything later in life, and then there have been people who have discovered wealth later in their life. There was a science fiction writer, George R. Martin, pretty much a nobody writer, came up with Game of Thrones, and now he's having the time of his life. He's some short, 65-year-old fat old man, could drop dead of a heart attack anytime, but he made it. Because it ain't over till it's over. And kind of a corollary to this is that when you make it, whatever you went through before doesn't matter. You don't think, oh, well, I'm 65 and I'm living the dream now, but fuck, the other years before that sucked because, I never sold any books. When you make it, everything you went through was worth it. So that's why you can never go up, because you don't fucking know, man. You don't know, and plus times change too. What I do for a living, I couldn't have imagined doing 20 years ago because there wasn't even such a world. Now it's like, fuck, I just got back from the gym, took a cold shower, and I'm talking to a fucking laptop thing, right? What is this world we live in? You couldn't have imagined this 20 years ago. You have no fucking idea what's going to happen. That's why you have to keep dreaming big every day, pursuing your dreams, because you don't know. Could be fucking a pipe dream, but you don't know. And when you get there, it is worth it. Everybody who's made it. Maybe I'll do a list 10 on 10 things successful people don't tell you. And one thing they'll not tell you, because it ain't cool. When you get successful, you gotta be fucking cool and hardcore, I made it, and everybody who hasn't made it is a fucking loser, unlike me, and I always knew I would be a fucking winner. That's bullshit. Fucking bullshit. Everybody, to be successful, you are in a small percentile. Maybe top 10%, maybe 1%. That means your whole life you heard you're fucking crazy, or it won't work, or what are you thinking, by the 99%. So the idea that I never had any self-doubt, I always know it's going to make it. Not true. They also don't tell you, when you make it, it's worth it. So all that self-doubt, all that misery, is worth it in the end. But you gotta get there to make all the suffering worth it. 2 is, breakthroughs often follow from breakdowns. There's a real thin line between I'm broken and defeated and holy fuck, I just broke through. What is the difference? Breakdown means that you've collapsed. Your body has collapsed. Breakthrough means you went to the next level. Very, 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 very thin line. There have been times when I thought I was going to have a breakdown, and really all that happened was I went to the next level because my old body was done, and now it was a new level. So if you feel despondent and fuck, you're up at night. And that's the thing, too. If you're a creative person, an artistic person, you're an entrepreneur, you're going to have sleepless fucking nights, right? Fuck. I had so many before the Gorilla Mindset book launch. I even wrote a whole post on it, like the music I would listen to and just to calm myself. My whole body was, like, achy. I couldn't even hardly lift weights. I was a fucking mess. Like, right now, I'm getting my body back in shape because I just fucking broke my body down getting my book stuff down. But the idea that, like, oh yeah, you're always confident and you know you're going to win, such bullshit. Such fucking bullshit. And you think you're going to break down, but a lot of times you're just going to the next level. The next one is, failures make you stronger. Everybody hears it. But it really is true. You got to look at things on a long timeline. And this is harder. The harder it is to do is when you're younger. When you're 18, you want everything now. You're 25, you want everything now. There are people even now that are 41, they want everything now. You might not get everything you want until you're fucking 50 or 60 or 70 years old, It's a long, long, long timeline. Right now, I have everything I want. I'm 38. It took me 38 fucking years to get this. 38 years of self-doubt, wondering if I was a failure, wonder if if it was even possible, wondering why you're even alive. What's the point of existence? And it still ain't over because the whole idea that it ain't over till it's over works both ways. So I've written about this book a lot, the Killing Fields, and there are so many takeaways from the book. And another takeaway is that a lot of the people who ended up the Killing Fields was the Cambodian Holocaust, and the Holocaust that happened in Cambodia was every bit or worse as the Jewish Holocaust. And people were put into forced labor camps. They were starved. They became refugees. Their daughters were raped. All the women were raped. It was pretty much the worst way you could imagine living. They were tortured, had body parts cut off. Well, a lot of people it happened to were the rich, intelligent people. The protagonist of the book was a doctor, very successful, very rich. He had friends in the U.S. Embassy, and they said, things again. He'd here in Southeast Asia with communism, we'll get you to the U.S. He's like, no, things are cool. Fuck, life is over. His father, same thing, very rich, successful businessman. I don't know how old he was at the time, 60, 70. Went from a rich, successful businessman to a fucking in the killing fields, dude. So I'm 38, but if you think that I think that it's over, it ain't fucking over. That's one reason I'm becoming a little bit more politically involved, because I realized, I'm at a point in my life where I can just coast. I'm set. I can run danger and play the same way I run until I'm 50. No problem. Rest on my laurels, but it ain't over. It ain't over till it's over. So the whole point is you're going to fail a lot and you're going to fuck up a lot and you're going to make a lot of mistakes. But if you just look at it as being part of a longer timeline, and you reframe that, your mistakes really do make you better. They improve. I mean, my podcast has improved. Why? Because I did it. I did it. My videos, I know how I can take them to the next level. I know I can improve them right now. I'm just in the frame of mind of I'm just going to bang them out. But I'm like, oh, here's how camera angles look. It's amazing how I look completely different just based on lighting and angles. And a lot of things I had no idea of, and I'm just learning as I go. So if I do want to do like a professional video, in a year, I'll be able to do professional, great videos. Now, a lot of people, if you're younger, like, well, yeah, I want to do pro videos today. It's like, well, yeah, but I'm failing right now, and then when it's time to fucking do it, it'll be perfect, right? Because I'm just failing along the way. Same thing with early Danger Play articles. Read the stuff from 2011, 2012. Looked ratty. They didn't read well. They were failures, right? But look where we're at now, dude. We're still going to fucking next level. You gotta fail. The failures do make you stronger. You learn because you learn from every failure. Now, I'm not one of those people who say you learn more from your failures than from your success. I don't believe that. But you do learn every time you fail. And you got to look at life as a long, long, long timeline. So failures are inevitable. But look at it, the end goal, your end vision, where you want to be. I want to be a happy fucking 80-year-old man. By happy, I mean a fucking crotchety old, grumpy 80-year-old motherfucker who's still healthy. But I have a vision for myself at 80. Now, I know I'm going to make mistakes, but it's not a big deal because I'm going to be 80. A few mistakes, that's going to happen. But when I'm 80, I'm going to have shit dialed in, right? So even though now I'm 38, I think I got it dialed in. It's like, no, I'm thinking, thinking down the road. Failures make you stronger. But to fail, you have to fucking hit it hard, pound it. You're going to fail, but you're going to succeed a lot too. That's why you can't give up. You're going to learn everything from your failures. Every time you fail, you learn something. The next one is, don't give up on yourself because everybody who's successful was going to give up. And I kind of touched on that earlier. If you're the 1%, your whole life you've heard from everybody that what you want to do isn't even possible. Everybody was a successful person wanted to give up. They didn't give up. That's the difference. And in a lot of ways, a lot of people think, the future belongs to the people who show up. A lot of it's true of success, too. It's just the idea that if you don't give up on your ideas and you don't give up on what you believe in and what you're passionate about, that's who the future belongs to. Because everybody else is going to. The other 99% of people are going to. So a lot of it's just like a war of attrition. You look left, you look right, everybody's falling down, but if you just don't fall down, or when you do fall down, you get back up, that's how you get into the 1%. And again, look at things in terms of long timelines, lifetimes, not, oh my God, I didn't get where I wanted to get in 6 months or a year. Look at 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. Then it'll all make a lot more sense. Next one is, there are solutions to just about every problem. Think of any problem you have, and there are solutions being worked on. Even if you can't walk, you might have your brain in a fucking cyborg body. You think that's weird, but look at what's happening with nanotechnology and robots and everything else. Man, we got, if anything, there are people worried about artificial intelligence, and we might be getting too technologically advanced. But the idea that whatever you're facing is probably small. Being in a wheelchair, that's a real problem. Most of us, we have like fake problems. I'm like, God, wish I were a little tanner, wish this. It's usually just dumb shit. Dumb shit. But even if you have a real problem, man, you got no fucking idea what's going to happen. And again, that's why it's about showing up. Everybody else is falling, but you're not going to fall. You got no idea. We might all have our brains in fucking robots in 50 years. There's no way to know. But we do, or we all might be dead. There's also no way to know. But that's why you have to fucking show up. You can't give up. Ever. Because there are new problems out there. Or there are new solutions out there for every kind of problem. The next one is nanotechnology. And I kind of touched on that earlier, Why give up on your ideas? What is nanotechnology? What's the internet, right? Trying to understand nanotechnology for us now would be like when you go back 20 years and explain the internet to people. How do you even explain it? Well, that's how much information is growing and knowledge is growing and technology is advancing, where we don't even know what we'll be doing 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now. We might fucking shit the bed and destroy the whole society, or it might be something great. You don't know, but that's another reason not to give up. Nanotechnology, man, no matter what you're going through, who knows? Maybe there'll be fucking some nanotechnology for it. Or maybe you'll be a leader of nanotechnology. 7 is, hedonic adaptation is big. So usually when you're thinking about giving up, it's because you feel really sad. There's good news and bad news for you. The good news is that if you're feeling sad, you will actually get used to it. Your body kind of adapts. It's hedonic adaptation. You aren't going to feel as sad as you feel today 5 years from now, because that becomes sort of like the new normal. Now, the bad news is that when you make it and you have everything you ever thought you wanted, do you think you're just like jumping on cloud 9 all the time? Like, you think I don't get bored sometimes? Everything I do, all the mindset stuff is still stuff like I have to do to myself. That's why Gorilla Mindset is so effective, because it's just fucking shit that I have to do. Now, a lot of people would say, well, how could Mike, you got it all, buddy. Like, hedonic adaptation, man. Like, you go from, maybe you're okay with girls, or maybe you're okay with money, and then you get a lot of money. And you're like, yeah, I got a fucking lot of money. Yeah. And you're like, okay, yeah, I got a lot of money. That's nice, where, like, oh yeah, I've fucked a lot of girls. Yeah, okay. Or, yeah, I've always wanted to do like a really fucking great book that I think will last 100 years. I remember how I felt when I finished Squirrel Mindset, and I used that in my state control exercises. I just felt like I had a fucking cascade of emotions and serotonin through my body. Felt like I was on drugs. And I harnessed it at the moment because I knew that wasn't going to last, right? That's why then you have to try to return to those states, like in the state control exercises and Gorilla Mindset, because you get that like overwhelming sense of, I don't know what you want to call it, harmony, connectedness, bliss, euphoria. Your body adapts, and then you wake up, and it's like, it's just another day. It's like, I love my life, don't get me wrong, and I have great gratitude and abundance for it. But fuck, man, like yesterday, like I was just bored. I was talking to my friend, I'm like, I'm just bored. And there's a saying that goes, only boring people get bored. It's kind of true, but like when you can do anything, it's hedonic adaptation kicks in, and you always have to kind of like fight it. You're like, well, I'm bored. I'll just go take a train ride or go hike in the mountains. It's like, but you know that you can do it, right? It's like, fuck. So there's a certain, thrill that's gone. And then, of course, I had to challenge myself more, and I got out of it. But the point is that if you're really sad, you're not going to be really, 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 really sad like that indefinitely. Hedonic adaptation will kick in, and you'll kind of like adjust. The other hand is, when you do finally succeed and get what you want, don't get me wrong, I would rather deal with the problems I have than being really, really, really sad. Trust me, there is better and there's worse. But the idea is that if you're ever just real sad, it's not going to last. If you're really happy, it's not going to last. We're going to kind of adjust. So if you're feeling like a little bit like I should just give up and I should just quit, buddy, it's going to pass. It really is. I'm not here to say time heals all wounds, because that's a fucking cliche, and it depends how bad the wounds are. But you are going to get used to it. So don't give up because you feel like shit. And also remember, too, you can control how you feel, too. We talked about that in Gorilla Mindset. We talked about it in Danger in Play. So even if you feel like shit and you feel like giving up, just change. Change how you feel, right? Same thing when I was bored. What did I do? I'm like, well, I'm bored. I just did the Gorilla Mindset shit. And then I wasn't bored anymore, right? It took, I was bored for like 2 or 3 hours. I had like well, I'm bored. Maybe I'm depressed, and then the self-talk. Maybe I'm depressed. Oh, God, I hope I don't have a depressive episode. And right, that self-talk. And then what did I do? I control the self-talk. No, you're not depressed. You're bored because you can do whatever you want to do. And you're bored, and it's privileged to be bored. And this is the exact conversation in my head. This is how I cured the boredom. The idea that you're bored or that you have existential crisis, to use an overused term, is white privilege, first world privilege, fucking good privilege. Because the only reason I'm bored is because fucking shit ain't happening to me. And that's what I told myself. I go, well, hey, buddy, if you're so bored, why don't you just fucking hack your arm off? Oh, I would, well, you wouldn't be bored then, right? Well, you're bored because your life is just a little bit too easy right now. You need to find a new challenge. So that was all the self-talk. And then when I went through that self-talk process, okay, like I wasn't bored anymore. Then I realized there were specific things I could do to not be bored anymore. Well, that's all it is, right? So even if you feel like giving up, that's just a feeling. You can control how you feel. How? Come on. You know how. Gorilla Mindset. Next question is, you can always do something new. I wrote this down, and I'm not even sure what the fuck that means. You can always do something new. But I guess that ties into, if you fail at one thing, you can take those skills you acquired and do something new. So if for whatever reason I couldn't do Gorilla Mindset and Danger Play anymore, like I couldn't be a writer, fuck, that would be sad. But what would I do? Well, I still have all these skills, right? I still know how to deal with adversity. I know how to figure out what people want. There's a lot of different things I could do. Well, why? Because I built up the skills. The same thing, a lot of what I do with my writing I learned as a lawyer. One reason I'm such a persuasive writer is because I almost said great writer. I'm not a great writer. I'm very clear. And one reason I'm a very clear writer, that's my skill, is if you become an effective legal writer, you have to take legal concepts that are very abstract and very obtuse and explain them in a way that people can understand. Well, it's the same thing with Gorilla Mindset. That my prose is fucking crystal clear. Like you can never insult me by saying that I don't write at a high enough level, right? If you said I wrote at a really high level, I would be insulted. I just use skills from being a lawyer to explain really fucking kooky things like mindset. Go ask 9 out of 10 people, what's mindset? Well, mindset is how you think, or mindset is, right? People don't even know. Well, those are skills that I learned from being a lawyer that I applied to this. Even if I couldn't do what I'm doing now, I have skills that I could take somewhere else. So even if you're thinking about giving up on one idea you have, no big deal. You can do something new anytime. That's the whole idea. You just got to fucking keep plugging away, because when you keep plugging away, you'll move on to something new. The great famous story was with Twitter. You know what Twitter started off as? A podcasting project. And then they were kind of fucking around with other things, and they were like, oh, we got this microblogging system called Twitter. And then they just did what? They just moved on to it. They told their investors, hey, you invested in this program, but we're going to do Twitter. If you want your money back, you can take it. And then all the investors took their money back, which there's probably a lesson in there too. But the idea is Twitter wasn't visualized as Twitter. It was visualized as a podcasting software, right? That's what it started off as. But if you just keep plugging along, you build those skills, you just move on to something else. That's why you can never give up. That's why this isn't inconsistent with earlier things I've said, which is called become a quitter. And I use Arnold Schwarzenegger as an example. He started skiing, he swam, powerlifting, and then he realized, like, through doing all these sports skills, oh, wait, I have great physique for bodybuilding. I'm going to do a bodybuilder. But he took all those skills that he learned and realized, okay, like, I'm physical, I'm athletic, but I'm not going to be an Olympic medal skier, but I could be an Olympic level bodybuilder, right? So you can always move on to something new, but you can't quit. 9 is everybody gives up. Why do you want to be a conformist, right? Why do you want to do what everybody else wants to do? Everybody that you know had a dream. Like Martin Luther King, I have a dream. Every man, every woman had a dream. If you want to see a person get really sad, maybe drink with them a little bit and let them talk about what they wish they'd done, what might have been, what could have been. Everybody had a dream. It's such a sad life. Most people, if you asked them, when you were growing up, what was like your dream? They would not be able to answer. They would cry. It would be sad. They wouldn't want to have a conversation. Everybody wants to talk about, well, you're my parents, or let's not talk about your past and the people who have abused you. Let's talk about what your dreams were. When did you give up on your dreams? That's getting deep. That's getting real. You try to have a conversation like that with somebody, it'll get uncomfortable real quick. Everybody had a dream. They all gave up on it. Why do you want to be like everyone else? Last one is, what the fuck else are you going to do? There's no alternative, okay? It's like we have this idea that, well, I'm going to just give up on my dream. Okay, well, I look pretty good. I look pretty good from, chest up. I got to fucking lean out, though. The idea, and you learn this about your body, too, is if you're like, well, I'm not going to go to the gym. Okay. Your body ain't going to stop. You're going to get fat. You're going to get sick. You're going to get cancer. You're going to be unhealthy, right? That's the whole idea. Like, you think that we're more important, we have more control than we are, right? You're just like, well, I'm going to just give up on my dreams. Okay, but life cares about you. As the expression goes, you might not care about life, but life cares about you. Time is going to keep fucking ticking. The clock is still ticking. Your things are still moving. Again, if I'm like, I just give up on my body. Going to the gym is hard. It gets harder as you get older. You get wear and tear on your body. I'm just going to give up. I'm just not going to the gym. You think that reality is just going to be like, oh, that's cool, Mike. Just however you look, you'll just stay this way forever. No, your body will actually deteriorate faster, especially as you get older, right? If I'm like, well, I got, my shoulder here kind of fucking hurts, and, my elbow hurts, so my biceps aren't that big. It's hard to curl a lot of money, curl a lot of weight, You think if I just stop going to the gym, the world is going to say, well, that's great, Mike, you're cool. No, my body will be ravaged with diseases. I'll have diabetes. I'll have high cholesterol. I'll have a heart disease. I won't be as smart because I won't have as much blood pumping in my brain. So if you think you're just going to give up on your hopes and dreams, and that's the end of it, brother, I got bad news for you. Your life is just going to get fucking progressively worse because reality is not going to give up on you. Reality doesn't quit. It's going to fucking keep coming down on you, and then you're going to have no soul, and then you're going to be crushed. And then you know real sorrow when you're one of those people like we talked about earlier. What was your dream? What was your dream? Go have that conversation if you want to with somebody. Hey mom, hey dad, hey brother, hey sister. When you were younger, what was your dream? And don't put the question quite this way, but when did you give up on that dream? Is that the conversation you want to have? Do you ever want to look across from another person? Do you want to ever meet me and I'm going to ask you, oh yeah, what was your dream? When did you give up on it? That'd be very sad. I hope we never have that conversation. I hope I never have that conversation with anybody because I still have dreams. Big dreams. Bigger dreams than I have now. Dreams that are probably impossible. But I don't care. I'm just never going to give up. Because what's the fucking alternative? Being a fucking fat, worthless sack of shit who hates everything about life. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to you. So I will talk to you soon. Maybe I'll talk to you tomorrow.